Are you done?
Yeah.
Is it clean? Yeah.
That's a good question. Am
Need
I
a vacuum?
done?
You want to check the camera again?
You know what? I checked the camera so many times. You know, if any of you actually watch the podcast on YouTube instead of listening to them on Spotify or Apple, you'll just see me randomly halfway through the podcast going to check. No, I do it. I do it every time.
You actually?
I listen. If you've noticed it, let me know. But I do it all the time. I always my guest will be talking, and I will literally stop, get up to check to see if it's
Did
still
you not get
recording.
weirded out by that?
No. Actually, so the background story, guys. So for those of you who've been here for a while, one of the podcasts that I did right at the beginning was Crime and Poverty.
Yeah.
And for Crime and Poverty, for some reason, it did not record. I'm convinced I hit record. Okay, listen. And I use my iPhone to record, so then everything is backed up to my iCloud. Do you understand?
So I think you pressed record twice.
Right. I don't know what I did on this particular podcast, but I could not get that video anywhere. So Crime and Poverty, for those who've listened to it or those who want to, is only available as an audio. Only available on Apple, Spotify, Google. I've never released it onto YouTube for that reason, because it doesn't have any video.
That's annoying.
So from that little bit of paranoia, that's why on, like Adeel was just saying, I go to check randomly through a podcast if it's actually recording or not.
Well, I think it's recording, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've checked like twice. Yeah,
I think it's a bit more than twice.
So on that note, welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Hi.
I'm sat here with Adeel. Adeel is an entrepreneur, but currently primarily a mortgage advisor.
Yes.
Which is a big deal, because now more than ever, it feels like more and more people want mortgages, but it's getting a bit more difficult with the socio-economic climate. Am I right or wrong?
It is getting difficult, but I don't see, when BBC or any of these guys report like, oh, it's getting really difficult to get a mortgage or interest rates are going up.
Yeah.
It's not as black and white as they make it out.
Oh, for real? Media companies are just trying to get clicks.
So they're going to say something like, oh, interest rates have gone up. But what you need to understand is like one bank probably has like 30 different products, right? For a mortgage, right? If you deposit 5%, 10%, and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one of those were more expensive, right? But they'll just report, oh, right, now the bank's just increased interest rates.
No, but you know what I was basing that comment off? I wasn't actually basing it off higher interest rates. I'm just looking at the current economic landscape of England right now, and it does feel like there's a bit of a cost of living crisis. Things are just more expensive. Deposits, are they going higher for housing or?
No, it's still the same, right? You still have to deposit 5%. Where the issue is so there's affordability calculations. Basically, based on your income, you can borrow a certain amount, right?
Right.
So let's just assume you've got no other credit, right? No credit cards, no loans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you just need to borrow for a mortgage. This is your maximum lending capacity. And it's a multiple of your income. The general rule of thumb is 4.5 times your income, but it can be 5.5.
If someone's making 30,000 a year, which is 35,000 a year, which is standard rate in this country, they can borrow up to how much?
35,000. See,
yeah.
You're gonna make me do maths. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pull this
out.
This is horrible.
Adeel.
Yeah, I know. I use a calculator all the time.
You've basically let AI win.
But it's a calculator, man. The calculator was going up, bro.
You're letting AI win.
How long has a calculator been around?
Casio
has been sorting out that game for a long time.
Don't plug them. They're not sponsoring this.
Right, 157,000
is how much they can.
Yeah, but here's the other thing, right? 292, anywhere in that range. Here's the thing that people don't understand. There are like caveats and caveats, right, to how much you can borrow. Like, it's, most clients walk in and they'll be like, first question they ask, how much can I borrow? And my answer is like, I don't know, because there's so many questions I need to ask you before I even know how much you can borrow or potentially borrow, because it can even vary based on how much you're depositing. Are you buying it alone? Are you buying it with a partner? Do you have any dependents? Just here, advice for everyone. Don't buy a house before having children.
Okay.
because the
Yes.
banks see children as an expense. And the moment you have one child, your affordability shrinks massively. So if you're planning on buying a house, even if it's just for you, it's a one-bed apartment, which no shame in a one-bed apartment. I live in a one-bed apartment.
And your place is lovely.
I know.
I mean, you are in a top tier one bed apartment.
Yeah, but it's still a one-bed apartment, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
I mean,
but-
I made the cardinal sin of being Pakistani. I went from a house in a suburb to a one-bed apartment.
Yo, listen, I don't want to disclose your location, but you are an amazing location.
Yeah, but
I think you're paying for location.
yeah, 100%.
You're definitely paying for location.
Okay.
And so am I every time I come to see you with all the parking charges. Every time I come to see Adeel, guys, minimum parking rate's like £8, £9.
£8, yeah.
I'm like, this is a tax to go see my friend.
Literally, this is the reason I don't bother about, getting a car, because like I just take public transport. Well, to get parking space here is about 25 grand. You can't mortgage a car park, so
25 grand for a year.
no, just flat out rate. So like in this building,
Oh.
yeah, it's 25 grand. If I decided to buy parking somewhere ahead, I think I could get for about £12,000, but I'd probably walk about
What
10
about
minutes.
at the main car park, like just the Lowry?
Yeah, around there it's about 12 grand, 12 and a half possibly. But still though, that's a deposit for more.
No, it is. It is. So going back on the
Yeah.
deposit, so basically someone who earns about 35K, they can lend up to 150. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but most houses are more expensive than that, aren't they?
Look, okay, I think the mindset is wrong that a lot of people go, shopping with, right? So the mindset is, I want what I want, right? I just want a big house and in a pretty area, and affordability calculators exist for a reason. The reason they exist is because the bank sees your income and they think, okay, on a monthly basis, you really shouldn't be spending more than X amount on a mortgage. Why? If you do, you're probably going to start stretching yourself thin. And the 2007 crash will happen again if we start allowing people to do that.
That's kind of America's fault,
It is, but
we've all seen The Big Short.
yeah, I know, it's a decent film.
That was an amazing movie.
I've been watching The Office again, but
That links.
yeah, but the thing is, right? So that's where the justification comes from, right? When banks borrow money, you always have to understand the perspective that they're coming from, which is, if you can't pay up, can the bank sell your property quick, right?
And what's the answer to that?
I mean, so I work in city center, yeah.
Mhm.
So I deal with a lot of leasehold properties, primarily apartments, which means that if a building, for example, has too many landlords in, meaning buy-to-let properties, yeah, you could potentially be declined a mortgage, not because of your income, but because there's too many buy-to-lets, and banks don't see a property in that building being able to be sold as fast as a property that's mainly residential.
Understood.
So it's various things, right? But yeah. But in regards to the deposit and the affordability side of things, interest rates are going up. So theoretically, the amount people can borrow reduces. Secondly,
Isn't it a good time to be getting a house?
yes, 100%.
It's a good time.
Yeah, because
you've been pushing me in that direction.
Yeah, no. Look, depending on your age, you should always try to buy a house, regardless, right? I don't know why people wait or what the issue is, right? Because rents are always more expensive than mortgages, right? And you're paying somebody else's mortgage when you're renting, right? Rather than your own.
Okay.
So I think people should, unfortunately, I mean, it's a harsh truth, right? But especially when you're buying your first property, you need to understand that you're probably not going to buy the one that you want.
I thought that would be a standard train of thought. That's you're working your way up in life.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it should be. But honestly, the hardest part of my job is people come in, they've already gone shopping before finding out how much they can borrow. They come in, and then it's my job to tell them, like, mate, calm down.
So do people overestimate how much they can actually borrow, basically?
Yeah.
Right.
Because when they fill in an affordability calculator, for example, themselves, they don't know how to fill it in correctly. So if you don't fill it in correctly, you're probably going to see a nicer number than you're...
Or maybe they're doing dodgy things, thinking that no one's going to check. Oh, my income, let's say 50.
Yeah, every self-employed guy that comes, every self-employed taxi driver earns 12.5 grand every year. the year they're going to get a mortgage, all of a sudden they're earning 60 grand.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the year after, 12 and a half again.
Yeah. Oh, funny stuff. The stars aligned for that house.
Yeah. So that's probably the most common thing. I'm always impressed, honestly. If I get a client who's had like 3 years account history, self-employed guy, right, and they've shown legit numbers, like not rounded up figures even, I am so shocked. Like those are the cases that I want, because it's like, mate, you actually did it legitly.
So many businessmen do that though. Like anyone who's self-employed would just start
Yeah.
cooking the books.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like, we get it. We're not accountants, but we get it. We understand.
I
why
mean,
people-
it doesn't seem like it's too difficult. to do.
no, it's not even that. What I mean is, we're not accountants in the sense that we're not going to explain why people cook the books. But if you've not been living on the rock, you know why people cook the books.
Yeah.
You know.
And I don't think I want to give any advice on how to cook a book.
Yeah, we don't cook books. We don't cook books. This podcast, no.
I have a mortgage. I need to cook a book.
You can't cook books. It's your job.
I know. I can. Yeah. Well, we're regulated.
Yeah, there you go. Financial Conduct Authority.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. See, I know things.
Oh man, yeah. When we had to study, it's like trying to figure out who I'm regulated by. Like, there's literally an entire test based on who regulates me and what that means to me.
So your first bit of advice was don't have kids.
Don't have kids. Buy a house. Don't have kids. Second,
That's mean. What you mean is just easier to get a mortgage if you don't have dependents.